Welcome to this video introduction of Mr. Ford's website. I am Mr. Ford. Um, there's a lot of useful stuff here. I want to go through as much of it as I can, but first I want to point out a few helpful links on the front page of this website. The first thing, it's for viewing smartboard files. These are things we'll do in class, sorting exercises and multiple choice, stuff like that we've done in class that you can then do at home. You can't edit it or anything like that, but you can view it and do any of these interactive things. I'd wait to download it until you come across one of these files because it is a big file and I don't have a lot of them up there yet. I am hoping to have the time to do that during the year. We'll see what happens. So again, I'd wait on this one until you come across a file that you can't view on your home computer because it is a smart notebook file. Open Office, it's like Microsoft Office. It lets you even save files in the Microsoft Word format or PowerPoint, etc., etc. I have it on my home computer. It seems to be working just fine. I haven't used it as extensively as Word, obviously. So again, as always, there is a risk installing files. Install at your own risk, but I do have them. I trust them enough to have them on my computer. Use your own judgment as to whether you trust them on your computer. And then Adobe Reader down here for PDF files. You're going to need this for a lot of the documents. All the notes on my website are in PDF format. So this is free to download. Again, I have it on my home computer. I think it's what we have on our school computers too. So that is free. So there you go. There's some fun videos to check out down here if you want. But we're going to move on to the meat of the presentation on my Global History 1 page. That's what this presentation is. So let's click on that. And you can see there's a whole bunch of links over here to the left. The one we're going to look at first is Global Schedule, and we'll click on Marking Period 1. Okay, a few things to point out. First, these 4 columns over here, this one's empty, mainly because the state hasn't actually adopted the key ideas and conceptual understandings yet. But these 4 things, largely ignore them as parents and students. If you want to see what Common Core element we're doing that day, feel free, by all means, click on this. This is more for my reference. This is more for administrator reference if they would like to just take a peek at what Common Core standards or instructional shifts we're doing that day. If you're curious, click on it. That's totally fine. But I wouldn't spend tons of time looking through this. The meat of the course is all right here. And the 2 most important things are the classwork and the homework. You'll notice there's no dates here. Those will be added in as the year starts. The dates change every year, so I always delete the date at the end of the year. And I go back and add in new ones at the beginning of a new school year. In addition, and it says this right here, if you click on a day number, so in a minute I'll click on number 2, you're going to be taken to the web page for that topic. So I'm going to click on day 2 and it will take us to the page that goes with the topic for the day. And there's notes, there's a study guide, it always jumps to the games for some reason, and video clips. So here are some video clips here, and you'll notice, by the way, as you look at the video clips, they also have questions, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, but it has questions that go with some of the video clips. Other ones are just funny clips about what we talked about in class. But I would encourage you to answer these questions. You can put it in full screen and try to answer them when it's done. You can write them down and write them as you're doing it. You can view it in this in this part of the screen and just look at the questions and answer them as you go. I've tried to do them in order, so you should be able to follow along pretty closely. And scroll down, and here's what we get into, and we'll look at this more closely later. Review games and flashcards below the videos. So again, that's for what we're doing. This is a unit page, so it's slightly different than some of the day ones, and I'll show you that a little later as well. Let's go back to the schedule now. Oops, I should have just hit the back key. Anything that's underlined, you can open up. So here's our notes for the second day of class. And what's important to note, on your list of supplies, it will say highlighter. And here's why. It'll be up on the board. We'll be talking through the notes, and you'll highlight anything that is circled like this in whatever color it happens to be that day. So let's go back again. Let's go down to where there is actually a test right here. You click on that, it says study for the test, and up opens the review sheet. If you leave it at school, if you don't have it, if you can't find it, it's always right here. If you, happen to miss school on a particular day and you're out on whatever date day 3 is, right? You just find the date that the day is that you missed, and you have a lot of the stuff we did, not everything. Most of the stuff I have on my website, either I credit to another website that I got it from and it's just linked, or it is something I created. So stuff that was created by someone else, I don't have on there, or something that isn't possible to put into a document that you can put up on the website. I may not have done that either. So again, a lot of stuff is here. You can get a picture of what you missed. You're always responsible for work though, so come and talk to me regardless. So now that we've done this part of the site, oh, one quick thing. If there are major changes, we have snow days and I have to move a quiz or a test or eliminate homeworks or something, there will be up here in red and somewhere, big red letters, it will say what the change is. So I moved the test to this date. I might not make the change down here in the calendar unless it's a permanent change, unless it's okay, we're going to need longer on this unit, so I'm going to make this change and we're going to have it that way going forward. Because in order to make the change year to year, it involves lots of logistics and recreating links and moving stuff around and then remembering to move it back if it's just for that 1 year that I'm making that change. So if it's a temporary change because of snow days or assemblies or whatever, I will put it up here in big red letters saying I've moved the test to this date. So keep that in mind. Again, the calendar may say one thing. If it is written up here, it is different. So please keep that in mind. Now I want to click on our first big unit because the first unit we clicked on is a little unusual. I want to go through a usual one. This is for the overall unit. Usually there'll be a test, sometimes a quiz for the mini units. So this is the main topic of study. A day we have a test. If you click on the day number that goes with it, it'll bring you to this page. And it has on it is a review video. We're going to use this one in class, but it's a review video I created for the Neolithic Revolution. Here are flashcards. Let's real quick show you how this works. It gives you a word. You know this is the Neolithic Revolution, so of course you got it correct. But now let's pretend you get a few wrong. Let's get these 3 wrong. And now let's just go through, and I'm going to do a whole lot of clicking correct here. So bear with me while I click. And I click some more. And we're still going. And what you're going to see is when you get done, it's going to give you a total. Hey, you got 83% correct in 11 seconds. I would take more time if I were you. But the important part here is you can either redo all the cards or you can retry the cards in the incorrect box until you get them all right. One thing to point out too, you can do this. I would go through them all this way, and then I would go back and say, oh, I need to be able to give now the definition of domesticate to tame for personal use. I don't want you doing this though. Oh, the word's domesticate. Let's see what it is. Oh yeah, I knew that. Of course you did, because you were shown the correct answer. Most of us know the answer when we're shown it. So make sure you can tell me what it means. If you're writing or talking to someone about the Neolithic Revolution, you're going to use vocabulary words, and you should show me that you know what they mean by defining them and using them properly. And if you can't define them, it goes in the incorrect pile until you can. And then we'll go back again and we'll define what silt is. And then we got it right, and there you go. So there is that. Review games, I'm not going to take you through how to play each game if you really care to. I can create a separate video for how to play the review games, but especially your students, will figure it out. These are multiple choice question games, as is the 4th game right here, Fling the Teacher. These have, I think, 10 questions. And you answer a question, then you get to play part of a game, and after a certain amount of time or a certain number of plays of that game, it asks you another question. So there's one where you shoot a basketball, and you shoot the ball, a question comes up. If you don't get it right, you don't get to shoot the ball again. So there is that. There's like one of those ones where you have to match up the same colored balls, and then they fall off the thing. There's that too. I did a horrible job describing that one, but maybe you know what I mean, or click on it. So these are all multiple choice. This one you have to get 15 in a row right, and then you get to, quote, fling the teacher using a medieval trebuchet type thing. But you have to get 15 in a row right, and this word here should be link, so I will change that typo by the time you go there. You don't get 15 right in a row, you have to start over. Not that tough. Just notice the trends, and if you get one wrong, pay attention to what the right answer is. Teacher invaders. This is all vocab. It is going to give you the definition. You have to type the word. Don't use capital letters for places, for people's names. Don't use the apostrophe for Hammurabi's code. So lowercase h, lowercase c, and no apostrophe. The reason is sometimes we'll do these on the smartboard, and the letters are up there for you to click on. Well, there are no capital and lowercase letters there, so I've done them all lowercase, I hope. If I made that mistake, please email me, because sometimes I just type a capital letter accidentally. And you'll notice that it'll say you're wrong even if you type it exactly correctly, if you do a capital letter or a lowercase letter. And these are all right here, these flashcards. So if you know all these, you will get this right, and you'll be able to play the game for quite a long time. And I can post high scores, do a screen capture and email to me, or show me if we're in the computer lab, and I can post high scores. I could say like Joe F got whatever score on Teacher Invaders, or even these games, if that seems to be something people are interested in. Same thing here. These are all the same vocabulary words. So if you know the flashcards, you'll do well in these games. And by the way, you'll also do well on quizzes and tests and writing essays and just, life. So that's putting a lot of stakes on the Neolithic Revolution, I realize. But if you prepare, you'll do well. And this is one way of preparing that's fun and not just looking in your book. Also important. So bug match, again, uses the same words. It has a question, and then you have to track down the answer, and the bug eats other bugs, and you can play around with that. This is just a simple matching, nothing crazy exciting, but you just go around and match. And you may notice some games don't show up as well as I would like. I know sometimes this game cuts off some of the questions. I think the one on the Harappans, for example, the one that we saw down here, it said river around which the Harappans lived or developed or something, and it just shows up Hara. I don't know why. Let me know where those things are. If I can't fix it, we do the best we can, and you just know what that mistake is as we do it. So that's the unit pages. Review sheet's always right here. The unit pages, again, are generally for a test or a quiz. The sub pages are what we're doing each day. So let's do one of the sub pages. Here's Ancient Egypt. Most of the time on here, you're just going to have video clips. Occasionally, you may have some review games. So here's the notes that we did that day in Ancient Egypt. You click on it, and up come the notes. Okay? And again, this is what you would highlight in class. You would get a document that has this with none of the circles on it. You would use your highlighter, highlight this, so key information would stand out to you. Oh, I didn't want to do that. There we go. The first couple things here are just sort of goofy songs, but again, related to social studies. This is about hieroglyphics, and you get to kind of see how they wrote, and we'll look at that in class. There's no specific questions to answer. It's just a background thing. Again, no specific question here. It's how they mummified. It's kind of gross, but again, it's how they did it. But get down here. This is more usual. You will see a lot on a lot of the pages. You will see whether it's a song or a funny video or just information, a screencast someone else did. And you'll have questions to answer. They are generally in order. You can, sometimes we'll even do, for some of these video clips, you'll get a video guide in class. We'll watch it, you'll answer it, and it'll be the same ones here. You can do a full screen and then just try to answer the questions after, or you can answer them as the video goes and just play it in this window here. So again, we have all these. Some of the websites, let's go to the Sumerians one. I think it's on here. Okay. Some of them have a review game. There's so many questions on Hammurabi's Code on the Regents exam that I just made up a review game of it. It's a multiple choice. This is just a silly little thing. If Hammurabi had a Twitter page, there you go. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And here's the notes. Sumerians, Babylonians. This is actually 2 days worth of content. Maybe 3 even, actually, if I look back at the schedule. And you go down and there's video clips. There's some cool songs that I enjoy about the Mesopotamians. The Epic of Gilgamesh, it's the story. You're not going to need to tell me the story, but it is a good representation of that story, and generally knowing a work of literature is good. So there we go. I think that really is all there is for my website. There'll be even more added to it as we go through the year. If you have questions, comments, concerns, feel free to email me. But other than that, I hope it is useful for you in your study of the course.